Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
We had the tools, we had the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome into Miller time on this Monday. We've got about an hour and a half that we'll be talking sports leading up to tonight's Washington Nationals baseball game as they're in Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates tonight. Pre-game coming up at 6:30, first pitch right around 7:05, and we'll take you right up to that moment. I am Matt Miller, and in the hot seat running all the controls is Matt Crawford. Good evening.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been.
Or at least since we've been in studio together.
Well, I mean, last week we had the July 4th holiday. We did get to do the early 10 a.m. version of Miller Time. That was just a half an hour that led into the early day game with the festivities in D.C. And then I got to do the commute from home, not by driving in, but via the transmitting unit. So from the, what did you call it, Pitzer's Chapel Road Studios?
Yes.
I was able to join you then on Thursday and Friday, and now Rob's back in on the morning shift this week, so you and I are back together for a week.
I'll take it. And
I will as well.
Back in the morning shift again next week, and then when August hits, you're never going to be here, so.
We should tell people, if you haven't watched before, not that it's gripping television, I can't imagine, to watch the two of us in a studio, but occasionally it might not be a bad idea to go to YouTube and then type in WRNR TV, and you can actually watch live right now. We are live on YouTube TV, but it also then gets archived, and you can go back and watch again. And you can at least just get an idea of what it's like as we hand gesture and move around and, you know, between commercial breaks, as I knock pencils around in front of me, as you may hear that in the background. But it's different, like when I was at home and we had Dave Johnson on, you know, guest on telephone, you're here. When we're together in a studio, it's easy to interact and react off of each other. I found it a bit challenging when I was at home last Thursday and Friday and you were here.
And, of course, those 2 days we had, combined 4 people. So you called in the one day.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 2 different people on our phone system, which is difficult enough as it is.
Right.
When one of them I'm interacting with and one of them I'm technically co-hosting with. So, and yeah, it was definitely different last week and something that we probably could have prepared for a little differently, but at least we know now for the future.
That's it. It gave us a heads up as to what we might face 1 week from now.
Anybody who is a Baltimore Orioles fan, we have their game on right now, and they just drew the deficit to 1 against the New York Yankees. I'm trying to see who's rounding the bases right now. We're giving you live updates here. Is that a Trumbo bomb? It is a Trumbo bomb. Mark Trumbo with a 386-foot shot into left field, and it is now 3-2 Bronx Bombers in the bottom of the 4th. And, Matt, you were curious about how many people are going to be at this game today.
Yes, when I initially looked and saw that the Yankees and Orioles were playing a double dip today in Baltimore with a 4:05 first pitch for game 1, I thought there's no way that place will be even a quarter full.
Okay, I'd agree with you on that. And looking at it, it's probably about a quarter full, but that's no different than any other game this year so far, or at least recently.
That's true, but this is a 4:05 start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that the fact that it was a 4:05 start, I don't really think impacted the attendance a whole lot. I mean, there's still fans scattered throughout the stadium, but and I don't think there's a whole lot of tight squeezes today at Camden Yards.
Think about who they're playing, though.
Yeah, the Yankees
the New York
travel
Yankees.
well.
That's right. You've got fans that travel well and/or Yankee fans that are scattered. You know, there are a lot of Yankee fans right here in our own area and, you know, up and down the East Coast and then all over as you look at the success of that franchise, that team. And so, you know, some of those fans are Yankee fans. I went with a friend to see the Yankees and Orioles a number of years ago, and I'd never seen the two teams together. I'm a Texas Rangers fan, so usually if I go to Baltimore or if I go to D.C., I try to schedule when the Rangers might be in town. And so We went down, though, because my friend's a Yankees fan, and we sat in left field, and the 3 sections, the one that we were in and the 2 directly to our right, were all filled with Yankee fans who had made the weekend bus trip down, telling us it was cheaper for them to be able to take the bus ride to Baltimore, see Saturday's game, spend Saturday night, and watch Sunday's game. And 2 hours after final pitch, they all had to be back at a particular street location to get on their bus to make their way back to New York. And cheaper to come down and see 2 games and spend one night than it was to go try to see them in New York.
New York is an expensive city. I had the chance to go see the Caps and Rangers play at Madison Square Garden, which was cool to go to MSG. I mean, that's one of those venues, whether it's musical, the concert venue, or any sort of performance, right? Especially a sporting event.
Were you bold? Did you wear your Capitals jersey?
Oh yeah. I was decked out in all red. And New York fans, for those who don't know, are not very nice. They're not quite Philadelphia Eagles fans or anything, but there was a few gestures because the Rangers went up 2-0 in the first, and the Capitals stormed back to win 7-2. So nobody was happy to begin with, and there were several choice words that are not fit for radio that were gestured as. So, yeah, it was one of those moments you're going, all right, I'll sit at Madison Square Garden, and the Caps just beat the Rangers. That's pretty cool.
But you just, at that point you suck in every one of those derogatory things
and
with
you know
pride.
What? Scoreboard.
We won.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, me and Sir Paul McCartney. He was there that night.
Really?
Yeah. So I can say I've sat in the same room as Paul McCartney.
Could you see him up in the suite or something? I'm sure they put his picture
he
up.
actually, the way Madison Square Garden, have you ever been to MSG?
I've never, no.
The way
never been to New York City.
Really?
Never.
I can handle it for like 3 days, and then it gets overwhelming. Being from the country, it's cool to kind of live that life for a few days. But after about the second or third day, you're going, all right, people are moving too fast. People are too rude. So much stuff's going on. But the way Madison Square Garden is set up is because they rotate so much stuff onto the floor of MSG. There's the equivalent of just like a concrete walkway that goes around the entire glass. So at Madison Square Garden, there's nobody that sits on the glass like you see at a lot of other like hockey games. So where there's a little like VIP section, the first or second row, all the way around, and that's where Paul McCartney is sitting. So it wasn't a box, but it was in the first couple rows of the arena.
He didn't sing the anthem or anything?
No, you'd think that if you had somebody like that there, that they'd at least do something. But no, there wasn't anything.
I mean, he's not from here. So.
No, he's from across the
maybe
pond.
He wasn't interested in singing the anthem, but
I never thought about it like that.
It's great to see sporting events live.
Yes.
You know, there's a part of me that at some point, would I love to see a World Series game live? Sure. But I don't know that it's worth the cost anymore of seeing those types of games live when you can be at home and be comfortable and basically watch it with a group of friends on television.
Especially the way that cameras and TV are now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you take back, even before really the early part of my life when like ESPN and Fox and CBS were all starting to get the cameras that moved up and down the sideline and the cameras that were on the wires on the 30-yard line moving in and out. I mean, you go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was worth it to pay that money because the view you got was that much different. You watch Monday Night Football now on a high-definition TV.
You see it better at home than they see it there.
Exactly. So which makes me wonder why ticket prices have, if anything, you think, obviously they spiked because of the years and inflation and all that, but you'd think after a while when you could get a better picture and sit at home and eat your own free food and.
Yeah, but they also spike because of the cost. You know, you're paying athletes millions upon millions of dollars, so you got to recoup some of that somewhere. And think of how many tickets at any given sporting event are not general public, if you will. There are so many corporate seats, so many businesses that can use that in some way, shape, or form as a write-off, as an expense, and so forth, that you tend to see a lot more of that corporate measure as opposed to just, mom and dad and a couple of kids coming in to see a game. Not that you don't still have those, but I think some of that corporate money has helped to drive up some of those ticket prices as well.
All right, so you have the choice to go see one of the 4 major pro sport championships live in person. Somebody gives you a blank check that has championship on the memo, says for championship. You have the choice of, you can even say college championship or Final Four or national championship, whatever, college football playoff championship. You have the choice to go see one championship. Where are you going? I know the answer is not the Super Bowl now, just because of your dislike for the NFL. 20 years ago, would it may have been the Super Bowl? Or you think it still would have been the World Series?
No, I think it's still, especially if it would be a Game 7. If this is the winner-take-all game of a World Series.
Yeah, but a Super Bowl is that.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's still, I'm more of a baseball guy. Yeah. So I would probably choose
I've seen you on the flag football field.
Oh, yes, which is why I'm more of a baseball guy. Although if you've seen me on the Church League softball field, you question that as well. But, yeah, there's just something special about, I think, that Game 7 in baseball. The NFL's turned me off right now, so I'd really have to think about that college game. But, man, if I could only go to one, it would probably be that World Series, especially if it was a Game 7. Game 1 of the World Series, that'd still be a big deal, obviously.
Yeah, because you get the hype of the first game of the World Series.
But, nobody's winning it, with that one game. So Game 7, I think, would be the one that would draw my most attention. But then again, you're holding that ticket going, I hope we get to Game 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the series ends early, and now... Well, at least I'll get my money back since there wasn't a Game 7. But, and then you hold that ticket forever, right? Are you a guy that keeps your ticket stubs and so forth?
I have it started out as a binder where I taped off, because my family had, up until this year, had season Redskin tickets for the last 13 years. So I started when we got tickets, ripping the stubs off. And then it was nice when they started doing the scanning electronically, because now it's the whole ticket.
Yes.
So I started taping them in a binder. And then when that got to, it was a 3-inch binder full of seasons. So I had the thought in my head that when the Redskins won the Super Bowl, I'd have the whole season.
There you go.
And then it turned into the Maryland basketball tickets and the concert ticket. And so, I have a chest now that has all my ticket stubs in it.
Pretty cool. Mine are still in a box. I don't have them as organized as you.
They're not organized anymore. It's now just one big mess right now. But they're in a tub now of all my tickets.
Well, we are, about 18 minutes past the hour, and that means we need to get in our first break.
It does. Let's pay some bills.
Let's do it. Then we'll come back and talk a little Major League Baseball. Nationals had a team meeting, went out and won 3 out of 4 against Miami. You're hyped, right?
Not quite.
Well, let's find out why. Next on Miller Time.
Yeah, it's a Big 10-4 there, Big Ten. Yeah, we definitely got the front door good, buddy.
I'm Joe Ferretti of Ferretti Law Office. The most common question I hear from people injured in an automobile wreck or because someone else was at fault is, can their insurance company do that? If you call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505, I will answer that question and other questions you have for free. Get educated and get ready to fight back. Call 264-8505 to protect your rights and get the compensation you deserve. Put my 31 years of personal injury and trial experience to work for you. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
As Asanovich goes to second with a 2 RBI double, and Martinsburg is on the board first.
This is West Virginia State delegate and former Little League All-Star Jason Barrett. I can still remember those summer days, the fun of playing baseball, building friendships, and learning lessons that are still with me today as I serve the people of the 61st District. I'm proud to support this year's All-Stars and wish the best to each team.
61st District Delegate Jason Barrett. Trusted leadership, real solutions.
Schriffen with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Andrew Luck may have been limited in the amount of throws he did at the Colts minicamp last month, but we now have evidence the quarterback's surgically repaired right shoulder is just fine. On Sunday, Colts receiver Chester Rogers tweeted he was heading to Stanford. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reports that's where Rogers and the rest of Indy's receivers will have a pre-camp throwing session with Luck. That's a good sign. Luck will be a full go when the Colts start training camp July 25th. On the defensive side in Indy, Colts safety Malik Hooker predicts his team will shock some people this season. Despite a lack of household names, Hooker says the Colts D is young, fast, and aggressive, and, quote, we're capable of winning now. Some camp battle updates. Former Bengals first-round pick Cedric Abui appears to have the inside track to start at right tackle after moving over from the left side, while former undrafted rookie Corey Littleton is now starting at one of the Rams' inside linebacker spots. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
The national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation drops in the dollar's value. Some experts say another crash is coming. You can fight this, not with stocks or bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. Call 855-858-5807 and learn how an IRA backed by physical gold and silver can hedge against inflation. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807 and get a free gold IRA guide. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, the name you can trust.
Appropriate music. You're playing that for Mark Reynolds, aren't you?
Yes.
You didn't
exactly what I was thinking.
You didn't even realize you were doing it because I'm not sure I shared with you this email that we received from the Nationals as a Nats affiliate that Mark Reynolds has been named the National League Player of the Week.
All right, well, I'm confused what that has to do with Rocky.
Because you think of what he's doing at the age of 34 and how he is kind of rejuvenating his career. Remember, he wasn't on a major league roster at the beginning of this year. And get this, it's the 4th time in the career of Mark Reynolds that he has been named the Player of the Week. But it's the first since April the 25th of 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the sentence in this release that jumped out at me. And that's why I say that Rocky theme is perfect. He's been chasing the chicken. He's been, doing the pounding on the meat and the locker there. I mean, he's been doing what it takes to come back and come back strong. How about this week? 10 hits in 16 at-bats for a .625 average, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 12 RBI, 3 walks, 7 runs scored, and did all of that in a 7-game span. And by the way, 10 of the 12 runs batted in all came in 1 game. Yeah.
And don't forget, did you write down his pitching stats?
They didn't incorporate those, but he did come out and throw 1/3 of an inning the day after he had the 10 RBI, which, according to an article that I read, I believe it was on ESPN, may have been NBC Sports. Either way, it commented that he becomes the 3rd player, I believe it was, in modern baseball history to have 10 runs batted in a game, and also at some point in the same season see some time on the mound. But he becomes the first ever to do it on back-to-back nights. 10 runs batted in one night and then comes in to pitch the next night.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes. Now, what's not impressive is the fact that they needed him to come in and pitch.
Yeah.
The last night, which was, yesterday's game, as the Nationals dropped the final game of the 4-game weekend series with Miami, and they lost in a bad way.
Bad way.
10-2.
You want to hear Charlie and Dave?
I do. I want to hear Charlie's final call and to see if he's depressed or excited, because at least they take the series.
Well, here's the way it was heard right here on Talk Radio WRNR yesterday. The final out of the Nats losing 10-2.
Bear Claw sets. Kicks, delivers. Swinging a ground ball right side. Fielded by Real Muto. He'll throw to Bear Claw. Covering. Throws a bullet over there in time. And the game is over. The Marlins avoid the sweep and take the final game of the series going away. Final score here this afternoon at Nationals Park. Miami 10. Washington 2.
First of all,
his message was positive.
It was.
But the call was very sad.
Yeah. A kind of a lackluster way to close out the weekend. But first, we got to go back. Can you have a better name as a pitcher in Major League Baseball than your last name being Bear Claw?
No, that's awesome.
I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Bear Claw on the hill, ready with the pitch, and here it comes. I mean, that's a name for some sort of athletics.
I was going to say either that or an inside linebacker.
Right. Yeah, I could see on the football field it might be even more apropos, but at least as a pitcher, you got that big Bear Claw grabbing that baseball and slinging it right down the heart of the plate. He got the job done. Look, I'm excited and not excited at the same time. Max Scherzer apparently is the one that called the players-only meeting. That was part of what came out through the weekend, the broadcast as heard right here as a Nationals affiliate, as well as some other areas where I had seen or heard that it was really kind of Max Scherzer, his veteran leadership, calling the group together and saying, guys, we need to talk and let's hash this out. That was a good thing. They came right back out, though, and went down 9-0 before rallying for the biggest comeback in Nationals franchise history. Then they come out the next night, and their offense labors again, just the way they had been doing before, and they have only 2 runs going into their last at-bat. Now, the good news was the pitching held up, and it was a 2-2 game, and Mark Reynolds gets called on and hits a pinch-hit home run, and they get a thrilling 3-2 victory. So there's the first 2 games of the series. Wow, what a way to win 2 games. Then they just absolutely pummel Miami in the Saturday game, the 10 RBI for Reynolds, and what was that final, 18-4? And then yesterday they come out and lay an egg. And Tanner Roark was miserable on the hill. He threw 100 pitches in 4 innings. That's Little League right there. I'm sorry. That's a ton of pitches in a short amount of time.
Little League, because most coaches in Little League don't have their kids throw that many pitches throughout 4 innings.
Right. You reach the 85 pitch limit and you're out, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, the loss yesterday, certainly a disappointing loss, the way that it played out. And while they took 3 of 4, I'm positive on that side of it. You asked me Friday as we were going into the weekend, all right, what do the Nationals have to do to, do they have to win big or I said they just have to win. And they did.
But how positive can you be based on the descriptions you just gave?
That's where I'm leery. I'm happy they won. They're a game above 500.
But they beat the Marlins. If they came out and beat the Sox or beat the Dodgers, anybody who's decent in the NL or AL, then you're saying, okay, even if you scrape by, you need to beat those good teams.
There you go.
Congratulations. You beat the worst team in your division and one of the worst teams in the entire National League.
And let's look back at what I said.
At the 9-0 deficit you allowed yourself to get into.
Could have easily lost that game.
Scraping by in a 3-2 game where you had to have a pinch hit home run.
Could have easily lost that game.
And then yesterday you lose. So there's one game in there where you came out and flat out dominated.
That's it. You could easily have gone 1-3 in this weekend series, even if you go 3-1.
Even if you go 2-2, that's a bad series.
You got it. So the question is, what does this week mean? 3 games in Pittsburgh beginning tonight, then 4 in New York against the Mets. Teams the Nationals have to beat if they want to get where they want to go. I think they got to win at least 5. They got to be 5-2 in this 7-game road trip to close out this first half of the season before the All-Star break.
I'd agree.
We agree on something. Holy cow. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
CBS News update. A big battle's expected over President Trump's Supreme Court nominee to be announced in just a few hours. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who refused to hold a vote on Obama nominee Merrick Garland, now decries expected liberal opposition.
Decade after decade, nominee after nominee. The far left script hardly changes at all.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer wants a pledge to protect Americans' freedom.
The onus is on his nominee to show where he or she might stand.
Via Skype, CBS's Leonard Steinhorn.
Even though there's no crystal ball here, we can be pretty certain about one thing, that it's a sure bet that whichever candidate he chooses will be as conservative, if not much more so, than the justice they would be replacing, Anthony Kennedy.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Clear skies, quite pleasant outside through the evening as temperatures head back through the 70s. We'll see our early morning low of 63 with light winds. Lots of starlight out there and lots of sunshine coming up for tomorrow, too, with the daytime high getting up closer to 90. Definitely a muggier day tomorrow, and there is the chance of a scattered shower or a thunder shower. But then we're dry and sunny again Wednesday and Thursday. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
L.A. Roberts is Berkeley County's oldest jeweler, where every season is new and exciting. In fact, new is old school to us, and though it's nothing new, our old traditions like exceptional service, quality, and value maintain L.A. Roberts Jewelers as the old master among so many new kids on the block. Whether you're a newcomer or part of the old guard, entrust all your fine jewelry needs to L.A. Roberts, Old World Jewelers for a new age, in historic downtown Martinsburg. Simply free e-checking from City National Bank. Perfect if you want basic checking with no monthly service fees or balance requirements. Stop by any of our 7 Eastern Panhandle locations or visit us online at bankatcity.com. City National Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
More trouble for the Cowboys. I'm Jeff Biggs, and some breaking news out of the NFL today. It has been released that Cowboys second-year corner Marquez White was indicted for a road rage incident last month and has been charged with second-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There are more details coming, but that is the latest out of Dallas with the Cowboys and Marquez White coming into his second season out of Florida State. There are 2 doubleheaders going on in baseball right now. They're in the top of the 5th at Camden Yards in Baltimore. CC Sabathia and the Yankees leading the Orioles 3-2. Giancarlo Stanton, number 22, a solo shot to put the Yankees on top, but Mark Trumbo has hit a 2-run blast to pull the Orioles within a run, so it's 3-2. And right out top of the 4th at Citi Field, the Mets and the Phillies are tied 3-3. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson. We're accident, injury, and disability lawyers with over 120 years combined trial experience. When you owe an insurance company money, they want to be paid right away. When an insurance company owes you money, that's a different story, isn't it? At Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, we devote ourselves to making that story turn out in your favor. We play hardball. Injured in a car wreck? Call for a free consultation. Call us at 304-LAWYERS or 304-263-0900.
Will Greer to David Sills is a winning combination WVU fans know well.
Greer throwing toward the end zone. Ball caught. Post pattern. Sills. Touchdown. David Sills hauls it in.
The Mountaineers, Talk Radio WRNR, and your business is a dynamic combination like no other. Contact our station. Add your company to the coverage of the great tradition of West Virginia Mountaineer football and basketball. Heard right here on Talk Radio WRNR, the Panhandle Sports Radio station.
And we welcome you back into Miller time, and Matt Miller is all sorts of heated next to me.
I'm on a rant.
You are on a rant, but you picked a bad time, right, coming in from a commercial break.
I just don't understand baseball. During the break, the Orioles are playing a doubleheader against the Yankees. Yankees have a 3-2 lead. The Yankees just retired, and now the Orioles getting ready to come to the plate, but I'm watching the Orioles pitcher throw a pitch that hits the dirt behind the plate, short hops into the mitt of the catcher. Umpire immediately pulls a ball out of his ball bag on his hip, waggles it in the air, throws it to the pitcher, and the catcher turns to the dugout and pitches the ball away. And I'm thinking, why is that ball being yanked just because it hit in the dirt? If that batter would have put that exact same baseball into play, he could have smashed it with a wooden stick that would have beaten the side of it down. I mean, you ever seen the slow motion video of a bat and a ball coming together? And then that ball's going to skip across the grass and touch the dirt a couple of times before, let's say, the second baseman scoops it up, throws him out at first. Do they get rid of that ball? No. They throw it around the horn, give it back to the pitcher. Let's play ball again. How comes a pitcher throws a pitch in the dirt and you got to get rid of that baseball? Makes no sense to me.
I think you're thinking way too much into this. They threw a dirty ball in the dugout and got a new one.
But why?
I don't know what to tell. It's baseball.
You didn't need to. Are you afraid?
I'm not saying you needed to. I'm just wondering why this bothers you all that much.
I'm frugal. That's what it is.
I see that.
You're not wasting baseball.
They're not wasting. They're going to get dusted off, and the next time 4 straight pitches get fouled off,
There'll be a batting
the little
practice.
bat boy.
They'll be batting.
No, they won't be batting practice.
They'll be
No,
batting practice
they're wiped off, and the next time you see the little
So why do they need
5'2"
to
bat boy in his little cute uniform
Yep.
and helmet walk out and give
Yep.
the umpire 4 new balls that he sticks in his little holsters on each side, it's going to be that exact same ball they just threw out.
Then why did it need to go
I
out?
don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, you're worried way too much about this.
I just don't understand. It makes no sense to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you wallow in self-pity over there while we.
It's not self-pity.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. You want to take a look at yesterday in sports history?
I want you to, because I don't have it in front of me. But you tell them to me, and I'll be glad to take them in.
Our I guess it's not really a new segment anymore. It's becoming a segment. Our yesterday in sports history segment today is the 9th. So we're looking at July 8th in sports history, 1898. So not technically modern era baseball yet, because modern era is 1900 and now. The Phillies, Red Donahue, no hits the Boston Braves 5-0.
Well, wait a minute. That might be one of the highest scores in a no-hitter. You always tell me.
It's one of them.
A no-hitter's low scoring.
They are. 1900, the first night baseball game. It was a league game between Zanesville at Grand Rapids. So I'm guessing a minor league game. I'm guessing. Oh, no, I guess it's not a minor league because moving on down to 1909 is the first. Okay, so this is it's a semi-pro baseball.
Right.
So it was the first technically baseball game played at night. So 1909 was the first pro game played underneath the lights, and they didn't decide to give me who played it. Not like that would have been
matter.
Not like that would have been nice information to know or anything.
It didn't matter.
It did matter.
Hey, Hornby just texted me. He wants to know tomorrow in sports history.
We actually can do that with this website.
We can.
Just not up to 2018.
I was going to say.
It would make betting a lot better.
Yeah, he's thinking of what Back to the Future. Was that 2? I think it was when they went back and
bet on all the sporting events.
Right.
Yeah, got the sports almanac from like 52 or whatever it was. 1918, Babe Ruth blasts one over the fence at Fenway Park to give the Boston Red Sox a 1-0 win. But apparently there was some sort of scuffle with the ruling, and he had a home run taken away from him, and it became a triple. He would later score, so they would still win 1-0.
Wow.
He hit a home, I don't know whether it was a fan interference type of thing, but he hit a home run, and then they got together and figured out that it was only a triple. But I'm figuring out what rule could they have figured out that take a home run and made it a triple?
Well, it had to be a ground rule. It had to be something with a railing or the way the wall was.
Yeah, but
and
that
where
just
the
makes
ball
it a ground
was.
rule double.
Well, I don't know.
Unless there was a fan interference after he rounded third or something.
What's crazy is no instant replay back then. How did they figure that out?
The umpires all watching it, I guess. 1935, the third All-Star game. The AL wins 4-1 at Municipal Stadium. Not in Hagerstown, but in Cleveland. The original Municipal Stadium. A lot of All-Star games, because the All-Star game is about a week later this year than it has been in the past. So a lot of All-Star games and this date in yesterday's history. Fidel Castro in 1960 ends Havana's International League team, the Sugar Kings, and they moved to New Jersey. I don't know what sport.
From Havana to New Jersey.
That's a culture shock, isn't it?
I'm going
From
to
Cuba
imagine.
to Jersey. That's a little bit different of of a clientele there. Moving on down the list, moving to more modern day things. 1973, the Mets are 12.5 games back at this point in 1973 and going to win the NL pennant.
So there's hope for our Nationals, who are 5 back right now in the NL East.
Yeah, they can still do it. On this date in 1980, Ken Griffey Sr. was named the All-Star MVP. He was playing for the Cincinnati Reds at the time. And moving on down the list, we'll give you 2 more. I like one more after this. 1994, Orenthal James Simpson. You know him as the Juicer OJ. The preliminary trial rules there is enough evidence to continue with the trial. He would later go on to be acquitted of all charges, because if it does not fit,
you must acquit.
You must. And the last one more for you. In 2015, the Washington Redskins have their trademark vacated on the grounds it may be offensive to Native Americans.
And then it was reinstated. And that argument has continued since.
Yes. That argument really started back in the 70s, but nobody's ever really put the hard hammer down on either side of that ruling. So that is your look at yesterday in sports history. Tune in tomorrow to find out what happened today.
But not tomorrow. Mike still wants to know tomorrow. So he said in a second text that his desire is to know it, not for the betting side, as you may have brought up. He said, just so I can dazzle people with my knowledge. So I
don't buy that.
That may not be a bad idea, though.
If we inform you sound really smart.
Yes. Then tomorrow around the
water
pot or the water cooler at work, then you can throw it out there and nobody will have any idea unless they were also listening to us.
Yeah, so but who's going to be good to impress here? Us? And we're going to be telling him the stuff. Rob's not going to believe you knew that.
Well, there'll be other friends. Maybe
there will be.
He can fool my kite. That'll be it.
That had to be it. Because, again, there's nobody else here that would believe him. All right, you want to talk some Wizards basketball? Because, again, we can't really go a day without talking the Wizards, it seems like. Well, but this is a good one.
We're not allowed to tell Rob Mike says. So Rob can't know, and that way Mike can still impress him.
Sounds good.
The Wizards, they're an interesting bunch. You know, that we had the draft, and they took a couple of young 18-year-olds, one an international player. So you're kind of waiting to see how those 2 young guys are going to pan out. You know, you imagine hopefully that both will have an impact in this coming season, but you're not anticipating that either one of them is going to have what you might say, season-changing type of impact. I mean, hopefully they'll impact some games here and there, but not going to be like the turnaround. So you get rid of Marcin Gortat and you bring in Austin Rivers. He gives you some extra shooting help at the guard position, some extra help because, let's face it, Bradley Beal and John Wall haven't been able to play a full season. Both of those guys have been nicked and dinged by injuries throughout.
John Wall's played a couple of full seasons.
Yeah, but
at least the majority.
The last couple of years, he's been a little more banged up, and last year especially. So that's a good selection. And you know, you were going to pay a lot of money to Marcin Gortat, and while he was a fan favorite, I liked him. He wasn't necessarily a center. Not at least the way the Wizards
not anymore.
Right. I mean, he'll be that center out in L.A. with the Clippers. So we'll see how it goes for him there. But now you bring in Dwight Howard. And we got the thoughts of Dave Johnson as the Wizards play-by-play voice last week. And, you know, he seemed to like the idea, like the deal, and believe that, you know, Howard's going to come in and be able to contribute. And I don't deny that he'll contribute points and rebounds. But where the question comes in is, what's he going to be like in the locker room?
And I mean, I had heard rumors, but I heard rumors about a lot of people being distractions within the locker room, including the Wizards themselves already. They didn't need any more drama within the locker room if you bought it.
Did they have some last year?
Just a tad between Gortat and Wall that was made public. There could have been other stuff behind the scenes too, but that was just what was made public. And I believe Bradley Beal was involved in some way. I mean, everybody was involved based on the media wanting to.
Well, when they had a team-only meeting again, players only, no coaches involved.
Yeah. So I am driving into work this morning and hear a part of this interview, so it got me curious, and I Googled it and read it. Apparently, former Wizard big man Brendan Haywood is now a insider for CBS Radio or Sirius XM Radio, and he was asked about Dwight Howard, and apparently Dwight Howard has been a issue in the locker room, and apparently it is a issue that has plagued him his whole career in every team he's gone to. So here's what Haywood had to say on Dwight Howard and the prior teams he's been with and the issue he's been in the locker room.
It's actually the third team that when I talk to people behind scenes, the locker room hated Dwight Howard. I'm not sure if Charlotte is rebuilding or if they're just trying to get Dwight Howard out of there, but it was clear the locker room did not like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard has to look at this trade, look himself in the mirror, and realize, why am I a guy that has averaged a double-double every year of my career, but I'm getting passed all around the league like I'm trash? Right. And it's simply because of how he goes about his business day to day in that locker room. Now, he's not the guy that's running around slapping people in the face, but hard to deal with, doesn't accept responsibility, cries a lot, has bad tendencies, awful body language. And so all these things contribute to why he was shipped out of Charlotte. Listen, in Atlanta, everybody heard that the team was cheering when Dwight Howard got traded. They knew they were going to be sorry. They were like, we would rather be sorry. We would rather suck than have this guy come back to our locker room for another year. And I'm hearing the same things in Charlotte. The people I talked to behind the scenes, it's like, guys were just sick and tired of his act. So I hope this is a wake-up call for Dwight. I still think he has some good years left, but he has to look himself in the mirror and say, why do all my teammates not like me? What can I do differently? I can't always be the victim. It can't always be, it's their fault. When you've been to 3 to 4 different locker rooms and it's the same story every time with 14 to 15 different guys every year, then it's you.
Wow. Those are some strong words.
Now a buyout of his contract now. That doesn't happen a whole lot unless it really is an issue. Well, and the Wizards only signed him to a 1-year contract.
It was a trade and then a buyout. I mean, think about that. The New York Nets or Brooklyn Nets.
Did you want to say Knicks for a minute?
Yeah, for a second I was going to say Knicks because I grew up, they were still the Nets. You had the 2 New York teams. You had the New York Knicks and the New York Nets. Then they became the Brooklyn Nets. And so anyway, just think though, Brooklyn was willing to part with a couple of players and bring him in and how that whole trade worked out, not so much so that they could have him, but willing to at least help out Charlotte by bringing him there just so they could go, here's a bunch of money, now go find some place to play. They didn't even want
the Wizards only giving him a 1-year contract at this point in his career where they know what they're going to get statistic-wise.
Is it possibly, is there an option on the back end for either player or team? I heard someone mention earlier today, or it may have been last night, where I heard someone say something about a 2-year deal perhaps between the two. So I don't know if there was an option in there that could potentially be, activated by either player or team, but we'll see. The Wizards certainly don't need drama. They've got to get out there on the floor and play well. Now, what cures drama? Winning.
Yeah.
Right? You win.
Postseason success winning. Because obviously regular season success winning hasn't cured everything with the Wizards yet.
No, it hasn't. But the way last season played out was not winning basketball even throughout the season.
Towards the end,
they fell apart towards the end. They had a pretty good run there when John Wall first came back from that injury, but they didn't close the season strong and then absolutely fell off the edge of the table in the opening round of the playoffs. So they're going to have to come out and get off to, I think, a pretty good start and develop and build and grow from that if they're going to have success and not end up having locker room issues.
Well, I think this is definitely an issue that really only time can tell. Because right now it's just right now he's not even a Wizard yet.
Right.
He didn't sign the dotted line. But I think it's now really all just speculation and time will tell. Just interesting to get a former big man and guy who's heard from people around the NBA.
And a guy who's been in that Wizards locker room, not necessarily with this group of players, but he knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. All right, we got to get in a break. We come back. You have a special segment for me, apparently. I've not been told what we're going to talk about the next segment, so you'll find out when I find out. You're listening to Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR. We'll be right back after this break.
Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own.
Hello.
Hello, this is Delegate Mike Folk, candidate for West Virginia Senate District 16. I want to extend my personal congratulations to all the Little League All-Stars this summer. As a former three-sport athlete and Shepherd football player, I understand the importance of discipline, hard work, and perseverance, something our All-Stars have in common. As you continue your journey through this summer and your life, remember this quote from Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who said, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't." Best of luck and have a great tournament.
The Wellness Center at Berkeley Medical Center has introduced a 10-week sports-specific training program called SPEED for 12 to 17-year-old athletes. The goal of SPEED is to evaluate each individual athlete, assess their deficiencies, and design programs to improve the athlete's performance. The new program for young athletes includes strength and conditioning coaching from the Wellness Center pros, as well as the Technogym equipment. If you're interested in building a foundation of long-term athletic success and injury prevention for your athlete, contact the Wellness Center at Berkeley Medical Center.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
Life is complicated, but your finances shouldn't have to be. At BCT, we simplify your financial life. Bank of Charlestown is a locally owned community bank with 7 conveniently located offices serving the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, Middleburg, Virginia, and their newest office in Hagerstown, Maryland. With over 140 years of experience, BCT is the tri-state area's choice for fast, convenient, and hassle-free banking solutions. Whether you are a high school senior looking for a student checking account, a college graduate purchasing a new car, a first-time home buyer, or investing for retirement, BCT has flexible solutions to fit your lifestyle. BCT is committed to providing everyday ways to simplify your financial life. Also, make sure you are following BCT on Twitter and Instagram at MyBCT or like their Facebook page to see how BCT reinvests local deposits back into the communities they serve. BCT, we simplify your financial life.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Nice music selection.
The Beer Barrel Polka.
I figured it was perfect music. You were thinking about that earlier. Did you know the tune?
It was polka music, so I knew the general sound it was going to have.
Yeah, pretty much most polka music sounds the same. All right. I bring that up because last week we discussed a particular event that for you said is a tradition on July 4th.
You speak of the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, correct?
And you commented about watching that contest and being surprised when it was announced that he had set a new record eating 74 hot dogs because the person behind him holding up the old-fashioned scoreboard had 64?
Yes.
So did you read the article?
I did not.
That the president of Major League Eating.
What a title.
Yes.
Where do you sign up? Where is that at career day in high school?
Rich Shea is his name. The president of Major League Eating. They sanctioned the event. So the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest
is an official Major League Eating.
Yes. He told ESPN that the incident might be the impetus to bring competitive eating into the digital age.
It's time to bring competitive eating into the 21st century.
There it is. Now listen, the original hot dog and bun count, don't forget, it's both, for Joey Chestnut was 64, eventually increased to a record 74. Well, how did they determine that? It was discovered that 2 cleared plates had been missed. So there must be a certain number of dogs laid out on each particular plate. And they're going through them so fast, it's
5 a plate.
Boom, they set that aside so quickly.
There's 2 cleared plates, and it was a 10 hot dog differential.
There it is.
5 apiece.
So apparently the counter behind him, I guess, did not see those. Either way, they've discovered, wait a minute, there's 2 additional plates here. And so the number was increased by 10. But get this, competitor Carmen Sincotti.
Yes.
I hope I get that right.
Carmen Sincotti.
He was slighted even more. Get this, his unofficial count was just 45. Officially, they moved it up to 64.
So they miscounted 19 hot dogs?
Yeah, 19. So I don't know what happened to one. Maybe it fell off the plate on the floor.
Or he didn't finish one on a plate.
There you go. Maybe there was one left, but they moved it up. Now imagine if Chestnut had not been given the extra plates, saying that he finished those off, you'd have now had a tie. Both of those guys would have ended up with 64 hot dogs apiece.
I wonder what the tiebreaker is.
Oh, I need to
look that up. What it could be the tiebreaker for a hot dog eating contest?
We have the now 2-minute sudden death, which if you eat more
may
hot dogs,
be a sudden death.
Now get this shake. I'm quoting here from the what did I say earlier?
The president of Major League Eating.
There you go. The president of Major League Eating says, quote, "We were embarrassed." And
you're taking records from this man.
And while even NFL referees make mistakes at the highest level, we have to show an effort to change the old way. This isn't your father's hot dog eating contest. There's a lot on the line.
Is that an exact quote?
That's a quote. I'm reading out of the article. This isn't your father's hot dog eating contest. There's a lot on the line.
What was my father's hot dog eating contest? I mean, this contest this is the 101st year of this contest. There's been your grandfather's hot dog eating contest.
Well, get this. Have we gone too far in the world of sports betting? ESPN reported that offshore sports books had taken more than $1 million in bets on the hot dog eating contest. Chestnut going from 64 hot dogs and buns to 74 instantaneously made winners out of those who took the over and losers out of those who took the under. So they must have had an over-under of maybe 70.
No, it was like 68, I think.
Okay.
Was the over-under.
So there it is.
They put the odds up before the contest. I think it was like 68.5 or something.
So a bunch of bettors were going, yeah, I won money. And then a few minutes later, the official count is now 74. Oh, wait, I didn't. And the others who were going, well, I lost that. Whoa, I win. They said, get this, offshore book Pinnacle said the amount of money bet on the hot dog eating contest adds up to what they take in for an average Major League Baseball game. Just an average.
Well, that's one game.
One game, yeah, but still.
And this is like the Super Bowl of Major League.
People eating hot dogs?
It's an ESPN event. Do you consider this a sport?
Eating hot dogs.
You're training and then competing against somebody else to complete a goal. You train yourself, as in a football player trains himself to go and compete against somebody else and try to win an event.
No,
I'm not telling you I do one way or another.
Still not a sport.
I'm just
because you go into training.
So what is it? An activity?
Yeah, I would call it that, an activity. You know, for these guys, I guess it's a living, right? I mean, it's your job, it's your profession.
Well, I read you the list, and it was how many world records that Joey Chestnut had on top of hot dogs?
Which means you're making some money in order to do that. You're winning prize money at these various major events, which is why it's not your father's hot dog eating contest.
I can't believe that was an
Your
actual
dad
quote.
just got some Rolaids and a, hey, pat on the back. These guys are eating
And a nice
for
burp
money.
later.
Hey, we still got another half an hour of Miller time leading up to Washington Nationals baseball with a pregame at 6:30. Stay tuned. More coming up.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. She says a police officer doctored evidence so as to fabricate charges of child abuse against her, and now she's suing both him and the county council. Kimberly Soward says that last year, Berkeley County Sheriff's Deputy Nelson Shepard targeted her during a custody battle and violated her Fourth Amendment rights as well. She says Shepard is friends with the father of her kids. Berkeley County authorities are asking for us to keep a close eye out this week when traveling on Butts Mill Road, Loop Road, and Strobridge Road, as there's litter cleanup going on from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. West Virginia University's president will be the presiding chairman, one of 3 chairs on Governor Jim Justice's commission charged with looking into college funding and sustainability. It's called the Blue Ribbon Commission on 4-Year Higher Education. The 2 other chairs are the presidents of Marshall and Concord universities. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Local forecast. Weatherman Bob Kukin.
Clear skies, quite pleasant outside through the evening as temperatures head back through the 70s. We'll see our early morning low of 63 with light winds. Lots of starlight out there and lots of sunshine coming up for tomorrow, too, with the daytime high getting up closer to 90. Definitely a muggier day tomorrow, and there is the chance of a scattered shower or thunder shower. But then we're dry and sunny again Wednesday and Thursday. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
The tradition of Martinsburg football lives on Talk Radio WRNR.
Up the middle of the field to the 10, spins off a tackle out to 5 and into the end zone. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown.
For in-depth coverage, join Matt Miller and Vic Holmes in the booth, Jason Colrick on the Bulldog sideline, and me, Matt Crawford, in the studio with halftime and post-game highlights, along with scores from around the Panhandle and the Mountain State. For 34 years, Martinsburg football has been on Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports.
Talk Radio WRNR.
We have the tools. We have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time. I am the aforementioned Matt Miller, and Matt Crawford joining me in studio as well, as we are together again for a week.
And then see you in September, pretty much.
No.
We'll have a couple weeks in August.
Yeah.
We're together.
I think so, for the most part. And then football season will kick into full swing.
Football season starts in August.
And we'll be talking with the various head football coaches from all around the Eastern Panhandle Athletic Conference, getting their take on getting camp opened and then scrimmages and then leading into season openers. Speaking of, we'll have a pair of season openers broadcast right here. Matt, you're going to be in the hot seat doing a little play-by-play.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. You're going to be joined by Mike Jacobs.
For Thursday Night Football.
Possibly Jason Colrick on the sideline for that one as well.
On the sideline, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll probably be with you in the booth helping to keep some statistics and run some of the production side of things. Look at that point to possibly have George or Caleb back in studio, and we'll do the Hedgesville Eagles season opener as the Hedgesville Eagles open a day earlier as they will open at home against Washington. They've been doing that for the last several years where the two programs open against one another and have decided, you know, we can do it. Let's go a day ahead of everybody else's season openers. So last year we really, by the time we looked into it, we just didn't quite have the time to get things organized and together. This year, we're going to be on top of it. So we'll have that game on the Thursday night to open the season, and then Martinsburg will be opening the Friday night. So we'll look forward to a pair of season opening games.
It's a doubleheader.
Yeah.
And the Orioles just took a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, Baltimore is playing day baseball. It's a 4:05 first pitch, or at least it was, because that's 2 hours ago now. They're taking on the New York Yankees in a doubleheader down at Camden Yards. The O's need a win. They were beaten by the Twins last night 10-1. That means 6 straight losses for the Orioles, and taking on a Yankees team that continues to battle Boston for the top spot in the American League East. So a big one here today with 2 games for the Baltimore Orioles. Meanwhile, our Washington Nationals 5 back in the NL East, trailing Philadelphia and Atlanta, who are deadlocked for first. The Phils and the Braves both lost yesterday. That helped the Nationals, or they could have dropped 6 back. Of course, they came into the weekend 7 back, so able to win 3 out of 4 against Miami, even though it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, and again, that's still not that big of an accomplishment.
Not yet. They still gained 2 games in the standings, so they're 5 back. By the way, it was the Pirates who beat Philadelphia yesterday 4-1, and the Pirates, the team that our Nationals get tonight, as that game throws out the first pitch around 7:05, and the pregame gets underway here at 6:30 as we wrap up Miller time. Atlanta lost at Milwaukee yesterday 10-3 the final. How about the Brew Crew? They are battling for that top spot in the NL Central with the Chicago Cubs,
who are rolling.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about it. Early part of the year, a slow start for the Dodgers, a slow start for the Nationals, a slow start for the Cubs. 3 teams that you thought would be competing in their respective divisions and then competing for a National League championship. And back then, we really felt like the Nationals were making that move ahead of any of them, and then the Cubs got hot. And the Dodgers...
Again, the Cubs just needed me to get into baseball mode.
And you did.
I did, and now look at them.
The Capitals wrapped up a Stanley Cup. That gave you a chance to focus more on baseball than the hockey puck, and they have turned it around.
They have. Again, I'm taking full responsibility for this.
Did they call and thank you or anything?
Not yet. They may not have my number. They're still trying to track it down.
You should track it down. You should give it to them. You should be contacting them.
Well, I still look at it as kind of my fault. They were a little sluggish to start the season, so
you're afraid of a little.
I'm ready. Yeah, it's even keel right now.
All right, but if this continues, I expect them to be calling Miller time.
I would expect. Yeah, I would expect the Ricketts to be calling.
I want to hear it.
Miller time. Yeah,
I want to hear it. That's the ownership group.
Yep, the Rickett family.
That was a part of the Undercover Boss, correct?
Yes.
You saw that episode?
Selling hot dogs. Yeah,
that was a pretty fascinating episode.
It was. Like, I had no idea the hot dog vendors bought the hot dogs and then had to resell them.
Right. Now you know why they were hustling so much in the stands.
Yeah, I just assumed that they were all part of the team and it was, okay, just go get more hot dogs when you need them and sell them. But no, these guys are out there trying to make a profit.
And the owner struggling to sell those hot dogs, ultimately what did he do? He threw some in the garbage can, got caught, and that hot dog vendor went, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't do that. You're costing money here. That was fascinating.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it really was. I enjoyed that. If you haven't seen that one, look it up. I'm sure you can find it out there somewhere on YouTube or Hulu or Netflix or whatever. But Undercover Boss, and look for the episode where the Undercover Boss is one of the owners of the Chicago Cubs. You will definitely enjoy that if you are a baseball fan. All right, let's talk about the All-Star team rosters. They were announced yesterday for the Washington Nationals. 3 members who will be participating, starting with the most deserving outfielder, Bryce Harper.
Were you expecting me to agree with that?
No, I was expecting you to go off after we've already had this discussion.
I've gone off so many times that it's like beating a dead horse.
He's hitting 218.
Yeah, that's not... And 218 is somebody who's a Major League Baseball All-Star.
He's got 21 home runs.
Congratulations.
50-plus RBI.
Put him in the home run. Make an exception and put him in the home run derby. That's the only stat we're going by now.
He does say, or at least he did, or at least I had heard a week or so ago, that he commented that if he was elected and was an All-Star or was selected in an All-Star, that he would participate in the home run derby this year.
Yeah, but he got to 20 home runs a month ago?
Well, he was at 19. I'm not sure. 20 and 21, I thought, have come a little more recently. But, yeah, he
got to 15 quick.
We still have a promo where you and I are arguing about whether you pitch to him or walk, and he was that hot early on.
I'm sorry. Somebody who's batting 218 and hasn't done anything that exceptional in the outfield does not deserve to be an all-star. But, again, I've seen several articles and heard several interviews with people that say, oh, you think about an all-star game, but it's not necessarily who's an all-star this year. It's who you want to see play somebody. So it's not necessarily who's playing the best right now. It's who in the NL you want to see play against somebody in the AL.
Which is why fans have no business choosing this. Now, these aren't even fans, though, that you're talking about. These are what? Sports writers.
Sports writers, sports announcers, you and I.
I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it either because I don't agree with it.
You're supposed to earn a spot in the All-Star game by what you do, not by who you are or how the fans like you or how many fans in your particular ballpark voted while fans in a smaller market didn't vote as much. It's supposed to be based on how you are performing.
And especially when you have guys like Trey Turner and Anthony Rendon who have been a couple of the real bright spots in the Nationals organization over the past month and a half when the rest of the team's been in the dumps.
Yep.
And they get completely, Trey Turner could possibly get in.
He's one of 5 that will be on the fan ballot for the final roster spot in the National League. So if, again, though, it's up to the fans. Who do you like more? Can the Nationals get their fans out and vote in Trey Turner, or is somebody else going to get there? Again, baseball thinks this is creating some level of excitement. I don't see it as a level of excitement at all.
Anger.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this going, why? This makes no sense. There's no way that Bryce Harper this year should be an all-star. Flat out. Yes, he has 21 home runs. Cool. Congratulations. There's no reason that man should be an all-star this year.
All right, cue it up. Let's hear from Bryce Harper and get his thoughts on being selected as an all-star.
Every year you come in and try to have a good first half as a team and do the things you can to help your team win. And these 2 guys beside me have done a great job of that. And, I think we're excited to, do it here in D.C. I'm very excited to be able to represent the Nationals in D.C. and looking forward to this week to hopefully get one of our other teammates in there as well.
Well, first off, yes, the 2 guys beside him, being I'm going to spoil the fun for you, Max Scherzer and Sean Doolittle, they deserve to be there.
They do.
Notice Bryce Harper. I don't want to say, and again, I think he's got kind of an arrogant attitude anyway. But yes, he sounded kind of like a puppy with the tail in between his legs during that interview. Like, I'm not sure I really deserve to be here, but I'm going to say nice things. And I'm sorry, doesn't he represent D.C. or doesn't he represent the Nationals in D.C. every time there's a home game?
He does. He does. I want to give it to you. Harper entered play Sunday, ranked 2nd in the National League and 1st among National League outfielders with 22 home runs, not 21, my apologies, in 16 games dating to June 21st. Harper is hitting .271, 13 for 48, with a .478 on-base percentage, a .542 slugging percentage, which includes 7 doubles and 2 home runs. His 9 extra base hits since June 21st are tied for 4th in the National League over this stretch.
So it's more of a what have you done for me lately kind of thing.
Well, I mean, he had the hot stretch early on, obviously, where he got up to those 19 home runs and was really stroking the ball, then went through an absolutely miserable part of the end of May and the first part of June. But since June 21st, has slowly begun to turn it around. The problem is he was hitting so poorly that a .271 batting average still has only brought his average up to .218 for the season as a whole.
And shouldn't an all-star have a well-rounded first half of the season? Shouldn't it not be, okay, he had a good stint here, he had a decent stint now, and was really quite pitiful the rest of the time? I'm sorry, that's not an all-star.
All right. Let's go to the guys that are joining him on the team. In the starting pitching category, Max Scherzer. His thoughts on being an all-star?
Whenever I get to pitch, it's going to be awesome. I've gotten to be a part of these for a handful of times now, and it's always been really cool to see the hometown fans get behind the hometown all-stars. I think that's some of the cool memories as I've seen over the years. Is the fan support and, for us representing ourselves as the Nationals here in the home park, I think this will be an experience unlike any other.
No doubt deserving. The National League Pitcher of the Month in both April and May, a 9-game winning streak, longest in the majors right now for a pitcher to have 9 consecutive victories without a loss, and should have had more when you look at his last 6 games. What is it now? 1, 4, and 1 no decision in those 6 games, and an ERA still at about 2.
Yeah.
So he could have easily.
He's on pace to win another Cy Young.
Yeah, absolutely. 11-5 right now with a 2.33 ERA in 19 starts. All right, the third member of the Nationals on that NL All-Star team, closer Sean Doolittle, earning his 2nd All-Star nod.
Getting selected to the All-Star game is a really special honor. It's really difficult to do. And, for me, I think of where I was a year ago. At this time, I hadn't even been traded over here yet. I wasn't even the closer on that team. And now I get to represent this team in the city in front of these fans in the All-Star game. it's incredible. It still really hasn't sunk in yet, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty special, because the last time he was an All-Star, 2014, he was in the American League with the Oakland A's. So now he's an All-Star in the National League as well. And he has been, phenomenal. Leads the National League with a 95.7 save percentage. That's 22 saves in 23 attempts.
Well, it's 40-some strikeouts to 3 walks or 4 walks?
Oh, yeah. He has been outstanding.
It's something ridiculous. Like, I think I was looking at stuff this morning. It's like a 14 or 15 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Strikeout to walk ratio, 16.33.
Yeah.
So
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Those are all-star numbers.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is what you look for in one of the best. And then you look at Harper, who's batting .218. Whatever. I'm done.
Quit picking on the youngster.
I'm picking on Bryce. He's not even going to be a Nat next year.
We don't know that. We don't know.
He's not going to be a National next year.
All right. We'll tell you what the Hagerstown Suns did yesterday. It's been a while since they've done it.
No, they won.
I know, but they've put together a small, modest streak.
There's 2, and if you win 1 more,
so it's not quite a streak. All right. So they've won 2 in a row. Thanks for spoiling. Are you going to just spoil everything here this second half hour?
Bryce Harper has ruined my second half hour.
He's ruining mine right now, too.
Single-handedly.
Hey, and we'll talk a little more about the All-Star game, as Matt and I differ on opinions of the significance of this game as well. We'll have that argument when we continue with more Miller Time.
The Wellness Center at Berkeley Medical Center has introduced a 10-week sports-specific training program called SPEED for 12 to 17-year-old athletes. The goal of SPEED is to evaluate each individual athlete, assess their deficiencies, and design programs to improve the athlete's performance. The new program for young athletes includes strength and conditioning coaching from the Wellness Center pros, as well as the Technogym equipment. If you're interested in building a foundation of long-term athletic success and injury prevention for your athlete, contact the Wellness Center at Berkeley Medical Center.
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery, and it happens in our own communities. Victims can be any gender, age, or race. Join the Department of Homeland Security's Blue Campaign to learn how to recognize and report this heinous crime. Visit our website at www.dhs.gov/bluecampaign. That's www.dhs.gov/bluecampaign. Your second look could be their second chance.
What words come to mind when you think of Honda? Reliable should be one. Fun, that's a good one. But there is one word that sums up every Honda. Quality. Because Honda was KBB.com's 2018 best overall brand. So whether you choose a sizzling Civic, acclaimed Accord, or sporty CRV, you know you're getting quality that's unmatched.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 Brand Image Awards from Kelly Puma. Visit KBB.com for more information.
Join the Martinsburg Bulldogs at their 5th annual Bulldog Golf Classic, located at the Woods Golf Course on Monday, July 23rd. Check-in is at 9 a.m. with a shotgun start at 10 a.m. A fee of $80 per player, $320 per team is required. Food, prizes, and more are included at this 5th annual Golf Classic. Sponsorship packages will also be included. Monday, July 23rd is when it all kicks off with a check-in time of 9 a.m. For more information, contact Dave Walker at dmwalker@k12.wv.us or Lori Stilley at frontiernet.net.
And we welcome you back into Redskins Radio. No, it's Miller time. What the Redskins theme song here?
It's their birthday. The 86th birthday of the Washington Redskins.
They don't look a day over 74.
Nah, sometimes they do.
A storied franchise, one of the greats in the NFL.
Just not in my lifetime.
But you still have to hold on to that tradition, right?
You haven't. You've given up the NFL. You're preaching to me that I need to keep the faith and keep the tradition, and you've flat out basically
Tampa
said
Bay
everything.
Buccaneer fan. Our tradition started with 16 consecutive losses.
And the very unattractive creamsicle uniforms.
Those were awesome.
Those were ugly.
And John McKay, great head coach.
Okay, the uniforms weren't bad. The helmets that went with them were bad.
Yeah, Buccaneer Bruce is a little.
Yeah, and that orange was okay. With the orange and white on the jersey, and you have like white pants, that's not bad.
Not bad.
The helmet that color,
it was white with the Buccaneer Bruce on the side. I do like the
Buccaneer Bruce was that creamsicle orange color.
Yeah, he was a little little pastel-y.
Yeah.
But I've given up right now in the NFL, and my Buccaneers, which is A-okay with me. So let's go to a question. We're going to post this on our Facebook page after the show. By the way, we also post the show, so if you miss it and you ever want to go back and listen, you can go to our Facebook page. It'll link you to our website, and you can then go to the program and get a chance to listen. You can also go back and watch it if you would so desire on YouTube. Just type in WRNR TV as you get to YouTube, and you can watch us live, which one person is doing right now, or you can watch after the show has wrapped up. But we'll post this question to our Facebook page. Do you agree or disagree? We'll figure out the wording, because Matt and I've already had this discussion off mic. But this is the second year now. Last year was the first. This year now becomes the second year in a row where the All-Star game will not impact the postseason. Remember early 2000s, we ended up with a tie because they ran out of players and didn't want to get anybody hurt, so they didn't want to put a position guy out there throwing blah, 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 blah. The All-Star game ended in a tie, and Bud Selig absolutely, positively, without a doubt, overreacted and said, you know what, we're going to have to make the All-Star game the determining factor of who gets home field advantage in the World Series. And they went ahead and did that for a decade or whatever. The stupidest move a commissioner could have ever made. They corrected it last year, and it stays this year. So it's now based on what you did during the season. Matt disagrees with me, and before you get in your 2 cents, we're going to post that question. Should the All-Star game determine who has home field advantage in the World Series? That's probably the best way to describe that question. I say no way, Matt. You say?
I say yes. I think it adds, while you look at certain aspects of the game, and you could possibly have a 1 seed or the top seed of the National League facing the wild card team in the American League. And if the American League would have won the All-Star game, then they get one more game at home. Here's my thing. You want a true All-Star game, you got to make it worth their while to play. That's my argument here. Is you look at the Pro Bowl, you look at whatever stupidity the NHL decided to do with the 3-on-3 round robin tournament.
Don't like that?
No. And then you look at what baseball was, where you had players going out going.
Hey, you forgot the NBA All-Star game where they don't play defense.
Yeah, that's just a regular game. Except even more high score. I guess that does prove that the NBA does play defense in some way, shape, or form, because the All-Star games are like 160 to 140. But my thing was, you look at the MLB All-Star game, and you had guys trying. Because owner of the station, Mike Hornby, earlier said the Padres are never going to win the World Series. So who won the one representative from San Diego who's going to be in the All-Star game isn't going to try? Well, I disagree with that. I think he's going to try because he's an All-Star. He was still the best player on his team that got put on the All-Star team.
So if he's going to try, why do you have to throw an incentive out there? Why do you have to dangle a carrot in front of his face?
I think it made it more enticing, knowing that you were playing for, okay, you win the Pro Bowl, who cares? It's the end of the season. You're not going to, it doesn't mean anything. You get a lay. Or if when they made the stupid move to go to Orlando, you get a picture with Mickey Mouse or something. But the MLB All-Star game, you had the best from the American League and the best from the National League.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. Going at each other, going, okay, we're fighting right now. We're fighting for our entire league to get home field throughout the World Series. And it's at the midpoint.
I don't even think that crosses their mind.
It's at okay, here's what I'm looking at. I would like to think it's crossing their mind.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
I'm looking at the clock over your shoulder. We still want to hear from Governor Justice. We want to talk a little bit about the fact that the PGA tournament was in West Virginia. We've only got till the bottom of the hour. So let's hold part of this argument. I'll let you write it all down in paragraph form and read it to me tomorrow. And I'll do the same. I'm putting mine in an outline form. And then we'll hash it out, and we'll bring in some fan reaction. We'll even open the phones tomorrow. So go to our Facebook page and check out the question. Matt's going to post it as we wrap up here today along with the show, and give us your thoughts, and we'll hash this all out on tomorrow's Miller Time. Should the All-Star game determine home field advantage in the World Series? Matt says, sure. This Matt says, no, not even close. We'll hash it out tomorrow.
And so far, you're 1-0 in the online surveys.
That was the hot dog versus sandwich.
Yes.
So, all right, let's go. What, Jim Justice, who was he speaking with?
Jim Nance.
Of
CBS.
CBS, as they covered the professional golf event at the
military tribute at the Greenbrier.
Well, let's hear from the governor and get some of his reaction on having the PGA Tour in the great state of West Virginia.
Here with the governor of the great state of West Virginia, Governor Justice. Great to see you. Yeah, the name change. This came about in early June. Why the name change this year?
Well, Jim, it was, I guess, a combination of a lot of different people's ideas and everything, but it's just the right thing to do. I mean, really, we owe the military so much, and this place has such a military history, and West Virginia is, I think, more per capita, people that have in the military than any state, and so it just all fits, and it's just a great thing to do.
How about just as far as the economic recovery for West Virginia, particularly in this area, post flooding from 2016? Is it all the way back?
Well, West Virginia is resilient, that's for sure, but it was a cannonball right in the stomach, and a lot of people still surely, miss their loved ones that they lost, miss all their belongings. It was tragic. It was the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. That's for sure.
This week has been, I know for you, another special week to have the PGA Tour come to the Greenbrier. What's this tournament meant to you and to the state?
Well, it means a tremendous amount to our state. I mean, from just the standpoint of exposure. I mean, we know how great West Virginia is. I mean, we love West Virginia beyond belief. There's 4 incredible seasons located within 600 miles of 2/3 of the population. There's natural resources, unbelievable. People are great. But a lot of people in the outside world just don't know how great we really are. And we want them to come. I mean, you give us the opportunity to showcase us and let the world see just how good we really are. So we're looking for them to come.
I know I can vouch on the behalf of over 200 men and women of CBS Sports. We found out since 2010 what you're talking about as far as West Virginia and the greatness of the state and of its people. And speaking of some of the folks from West Virginia, you continue to be, as the governor, the coach of the Greenbrier East girls basketball team.
That's right.
They got to meet them the other day. You did
good kids, beautiful kids, and they play hard, they play good, and they do good.
Congratulations. They just had a big tournament down in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
You took them down there to a Final Four finish.
There you go.
So keep it up.
The military tribute at the Greenbrier, that was Jim Nance of CBS with Governor Jim Justice. Kevin Na, your winner of the military tribute at the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, won at 19 under. Kelly Craft finished second at 14 under, and then Brant Snedeker finished at 13 under in third.
Quick story on that tournament. My brother, Durrell, got a chance to play in the Pro-Am down at the Greenbrier in 2015, played with the professional Daniel Summerhays, and said it was just a really special time to be on the golf course. Hey, we promised you a quick note about the Hagerstown Suns. They've won 2 in a row. They beat the Power at West Virginia, which is down in Charleston. 7-2 the final yesterday. Same 2 teams will meet tonight in our state's capital at 7:05.
Going to Nats baseball now, 6:30. They start a 3-game series in Pittsburgh.
Until tomorrow. That does it for Miller Time.
Baseball is back in Washington, D.C. 3 consecutive runs here in the 3rd inning. Ryan
Zimmerman swings and launches one to deep left center field. This one's way back. Is it high enough? It is. It's a home run. They've hit 4 home runs in a row, and that's a new Nationals record. Scherzer comes set. Now the kick. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a slider. He has tied the Major League record for strikeouts in a game with 20 strikeouts. Randy Johnson, Kerry Wood, Roger Clemens, and now Max Scherzer.
This is Nats on Deck, presented by DraftKings. Step up to the plate with DraftKings One-Day Fantasy Baseball to win big cash prizes. Just download the DraftKings app or head to DraftKings.com and get a free entry with the promo code NATS. DraftKings, the game inside the game. Here are Charlie Slows and Dave Jagler.
We are here at Top Hole Plate at PNC Park in Pittsburgh for the opening game of a 3-game series between the Washington Nationals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Nats on Deck, presented by DraftKings. Charlie Slows, Dave Jagler with you as the Nationals begin a road trip. The final games before the All-Star break with 3 here in Pittsburgh and then 4 in New York.